Wow. Folks.
Skewer.
That's just what I was going to say. Welcome to the Skewer. Yeah, yay, it's back. I apologize for what I'm about to do. I'm about to do it so many times tonight. Give me a round of applause for the Skewer being back. I'm about to ask an insane question. Who here is at the Skewer for the first time? Okay, are you mind if I read jokes that had the implication that no one would... Do you mind? Wow, I had a feeling it would be 100% freaks. Minimum age, 35. Another way of wording that question that I could have gone with was, who here came thinking it'd be a normal night at the bar and is about to leave? If I'm rusty, don't acknowledge it. I wouldn't acknowledge if you laughed weird, because I would have known that you hadn't laughed in 4 years, because without the Skewer, how could laughter exist? I joked about, like, who's here for the first time, but there are probably a lot of new people listening to this for the first time who've never experienced a Skewer show, because we're recording this. Shout out to my homie James Medley over there. A lot of new Anime Sickos podcast fans probably listening to this. Who have never had the Skewer experience before. So I'm just going to give you the 3 key facts you need to know so that you can understand what you're about to hear, and there's going to be no friction. First key fact, the Skewer is a live, monthly news satire show that me and Erica used to do. Number 2, the Skewer is a Chicago comedy institution that everyone respects. Some would say more than Second City. Definitely more than IO. I mean, you kidding me? And 3, everyone has to laugh at all my jokes. Oh my God, did I not speak clearly? Is the microphone not functioning? That was not a request, people. Do you not understand the game of the scene here? Can you not pick up what your role is based on the context of what I did? I'm passing you the ball. You're supposed to take it. I haven't even been to improv class. I know a lot of you have. It just comes natural to me, I guess. Come on. It does, I gotta say, feel very weird to be back up here again. I would be lying if I said I did not spend all day going like this. It has been a minute, folks. The last Skewer was in March 2020, which, shout out to March 2020. Like all things that occurred in March 2020, looking back on it, it's got a weird vibe. I was listening to the recording, and it really felt like we were all at the Antarctic base from The Thing, all gathered around the mysterious dog that just showed up, being like, wow, free dog. If there's one thing that's gonna define the next 2 years of my life, it's how much this dog's head is gonna stay the same shape. If you forgot, I sort of obliquely mentioned it. There was a big pandemic called COVID. Do you remember COVID? Did that happen? Folks, you boo, but like, what a virus. Like, since we last spoke, I don't think any virus has broke big quite like COVID. COVID doesn't get its flowers. It did things no virus ever did. Can we get a round of applause for COVID? Come on. Yeah. Keep it going. You know what? Let's keep it going. Who has COVID right now? Really? Just me, I guess. But yeah, we took a break due to COVID because for a while there, standing in a bar, which is the main and arguably only thing you do at the Skewer, made you fucking die immediately. Also complicating things, Erica, you're going to applaud for this. Erica had a baby. And then also a toddler, and then a kid. Not at the same time, in that order. He got old. The point is, the pandemic made us stop, and now it's over, and we're back. And I know some of you are going to say, Tom, the pandemic is not over. And I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Like, yeah, it fucking is. Like, I'm sorry. Like, COVID, the virus from science, like, that's not over. That's still around and still dangerous. Honestly, we did, like, nothing about that. I'm not going to argue that. But, like, the pandemic as a societal action that we're doing in society at large is as over as anything has ever been. And if you disagree with me, may I use as counterpoint every single thing that is occurring on Earth. I'm sorry, I'm not happy about it. Since we've announced this show, people have been coming up to me and they've been asking me why. This is not true. This is a lie. No one has asked me this. It's for the setup of the next bit. Do you mind that I lied? Is it okay? Well, fuck you. People have been every day, everywhere I go, strangers have been asking me, Tom, why? Why? Why now? You could have done this any time in the last 2 years. Why now? After all, you have to acknowledge that it is objectively kind of stupid to try to revive this show at this time. Consider its momentum is stone dead. We just went away for 4 years. Live lit is really not a fucking thing in this city or anywhere anymore. We don't use Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or do any promotion, really. And we're too old and sad to know who the hip new performers are. Like, it does not make a lot of sense. This is not a recipe for success. We're not set up to win. It's not a smart idea. So why do it? Why now? Well, let me explain. Yeah. Thank you, my own dad. My setups are in themselves punchlines. Back in 2020, when we took our hiatus due to forces outside of our control, Erica and I knew what we had to do. So we agreed to spend as long as it took training to become as stupid as possible, so as to reach an esoteric brain posture spoken of only in ancient scrolls, in which bringing the skewer back seemed like a good idea. And I don't know if you've been keeping up with how much plastic is in here, folks. But, buddy, my shit is fully waterproof now. My brain's in raincoat mode. The news was like, extra, extra, read all about it. Every human brain is now 10% water bottle. And Erica and I were like, it is time. My neurons are all little Gorton's fishermen going like this, making a squeaky sound. My brain is doing things that have never been done. I shake my head side to side, and my myelin sheaths get exfoliated from all the Neutrogena pink grapefruit acne wash microdot bath beads that are rolling around in there. Breaking character. Oh, I said it. I said it right. It's not exactly a tongue twister, but you tried to say Neutrogena pink grapefruit acne wash microdot bath bead really fast, and you will find you fuck up a lot. Back in characters. This is honestly huge for us. We've spent the last 4 years doing intense microplastic training in a misty mountain dojo, meditating every day under a waterfall downstream from a factory that smells bad. This is, again, dropping, like, this is me real. Since I wrote this, last week. Since then, another big news story came out about how all black plastic kitchen utensils are killing you, toxic! And they come from Satan! I use that shit every day of my fucking life! I'm dumber than even God thought possible. I've heard of neuroplasticity, but this is ridiculous. Another reason this rules, it's not just us. Every one of you, guaranteed, has like 15 credit cards in here forever. I don't even have to try anymore. You morons will laugh at anything. Case in point, you fucking laughed at that neuroplasticity joke. That wasn't good. I put it in as a trick to trap you. It's like the Globetrotters versus the Generals up here. I can just do anything. I just win automatically. I don't have to follow the rules. It's like jazz, really. Oh, man. This part, I wrote this like it was, like, for the bit, but it's also true. I would say this if I was speaking extemporaneously. Being up here has got me reminiscing. When me and Eric Ruel did the first Skewer show in 2015, which, by the way, wow, what a number, 2015. We were exhilarated by the thrill of a fresh, new show that could do anything, be anything. What could possibly go wrong? And then Donald Trump immediately became president, and I was like, oh, okay. This show's just this every month now. Time to die, I guess. Anyway, I'm back up here at the first Skewer show back. I'm feeling that thrill again. And elections tomorrow. What can I say but, oh no! For my mental health, I haven't been following the news too closely, but let's just say I do not like Biden's chances. For a while, though, this is serious. I did kind of feel like I was in mirror world. Like when Biden forgot how to be a guy who could talk and say words and stuff, I was positive they would never replace him. When Kamala Harris became the candidate to great fanfare, I was positive their pick for VP would be some guy everyone hates. When they picked a guy everyone likes who came up with a fun rhetorical move of just calling Republicans perverted freaks, accurate, I was positive that they would shame him for taking the low road. This is just how it's worked my whole life. And yet, for a while, and this is going to sound stupid, for a while I honestly felt hope. I was like, is this the Democrats, from Earth? Is this real? How is this happening? Then I got an email that was great news, Kamala Harris has been endorsed by the noble Karl Rove. And I was like, there they are. You guys, you don't do that. You're supposed to pretend that you don't like Karl Rove still. So who here has voted already? Anyone voted? That's pretty good. I don't want to be that guy who's please vote. You don't know about voting. You do. Also, any of our votes matter aside from 2,000 of Pennsylvania's most illiterate moon landing deniers. And as a leftist, I can't entirely endorse a Democrat who has pledged to have a Republican on her cabinet and who has been I swear on Satan's heart, I won't be mad if Israel invades. God, honestly, anyone, who can they invade? Italy, they can invade Italy. That's pizza bagels. That's a slam dunk. That's 500,000 free deaths before you're allowed to get mad. I'm gonna let them get away with shit with bulldozers. You can't even put in the news. Who else? Germany, they can do that. That's revenge. They earned that. Who else? God, honestly, shit, man. These days, the way I'm feeling, they can invade us. Honestly, I'm so fucked up these days, I don't even know anymore. Out of character. I'm not going to argue against those of you who say that participating in our so-called democracy legitimizes the two-party system that smothers any progress in its crib. All that shit's true. I know that. But at this point in my life, I'm old enough that I'm not going to hide who I am. I'm not going to pretend to be the pure leftist who never compromises. I'm officially saying on record that I do really, really hope that Kamala Harris wins. First reason, sad to say it, I love brunch. They got them potatoes. I mean, I am white. Sorry, folks, you can all see it. I'm not proud of it, but it's just the truth. Second reason why, if Trump wins, I'm not doing the skewer. I'm just not. You're not going to make me do Trump jokes again. Fucking simple as that. I am never doing it. This revival show, we've marketed it as a one-off. It's just one time. But what it really is a test to see if Erica and I have the energy and the juice to bring it back as like a regular monthly show. Regardless of how this test goes out, if Donald Trump wins, folks, I'm done. I did my time, okay? I did my Trump jokes. I'm not fucking going back. I'm not doing that again. You can't make me. Calling him orange was never funny. It was not funny the first time. It was not funny the fucking second time. It was not funny all the other times it happened to incountable numbers. I had to sit here in this room, a room that I have a lot of positive feelings associated with. And I had to listen to people I respect, some people I'm looking at right now, laugh politely as they heard the words Cheeto in chief and Mango Mussolini spoken over a public address system. And I had to sit right there and pretend like it was all okay. It was not okay. Honestly, even irrespective of him, I'm so fucking sick of writing and thinking about elections. Like, I think about tomorrow and I get like physically ill. And listen, folks, I know that it was bad when Trump said that he wanted there to be no more elections ever again. Like, I know the implication, yeah? Like, I know he meant that there's going to be a permanent fascist junta ruling the nation forever, more so. I would never imply that anything he meant was positive, but strictly on its face, in terms of a guy who writes jokes about current events every month. Wow. Promise? Folks, that's all from me. The Skewer. Let's hear the Skewer. We're going to do it. We got dinging bells. They added bells since we were here last. I'm done with this shit. We're going to have some great writers. Do you want to hear some great writers? You want me to bring up the first writer? Our first writer, Devon Price, is beloved by every therapist. If your therapist doesn't love him, it's because they haven't heard of him yet. And this is true. Like, so many people I know, like I'm talking about stuff and Devon comes up and they're like, my therapist loves them. I'm like, I fucking know, every therapist does. Devon was the first ever skewer performer and is one of the great geniuses of all time. Please welcome Devon Price.
Hello. So does anyone else feel like in the 5 years since they were last in a live literary room, they've turned into the punished Venom version of themselves? I do. I'm punished Venom Devon. I used to be funny. I used to write shit that was under 1,000 words. But now I've been living on this weird insular military base that I have sole dominion over. And my cat and my chinchilla are my corrupt advisors that roam around the base naked for plot reasons. And I spend all day doing push-ups and operating an evil world-destroying mecha, which I use to update students' exam scores on Blackboard and edit images to make Harry from Disco Elysium kiss the hot dad dog from Bluey. So let me just tell you that this piece comes from that kind of mind. As I logged into the Howard Brown Clinic's patient portal to check in for my STI screening, I was greeted with a cheery reminder. Studies show that voters have a longer life expectancy than non-voters. Register to vote today. It was a funny message coming from an organization that for the last 2 years did everything in its power to block workers from voting to unionize, including retaliatory layoffs and fostering of a, quote, toxic culture, according to employees. These maneuvers were finally thwarted in May when workers at Howard Brown signed a contract guaranteeing an average pay increase of 7%, health insurance for part-time employees, and 2 weeks of paid leave for gender-affirming procedures. It wasn't just voting that secured these benefits, though. When clinic executives repeatedly walked away from negotiations, workers at Howard Brown went on multiple days-long strikes, with over 400 employees picketing outside of Clinic and Brown Elephant shop locations and grinding business as usual to a halt. It was loud, collective, economically disruptive action that got things done. Vote for your health. It's a pretty typical message to be hearing now at the terminal stage of the election. After my appointment, no bacterial vaginosis this time, guys. Thank you, thank you. I stepped out of Howard Brown onto Halstead to see the drag club Hydrate, wrapped in a banner bearing the faces of several RuPaul's Drag Race stars, reading, "You Betta Vote," for Kamala Harris, presumably, and for the sake of things like trans rights and the environment, though neither RuPaul nor Kamala are exactly known for championing those causes. I saw big gay reminders to vote outside of Progress, a bar that in 2019 instituted a racist no rap music policy. And Beatniks, a thrift store that in the same year came under fire for selling Confederate flag vests and calling cops on customers who complained about it. On the side of the center on Halstead, a beloved queer community center whose former head security officer was suspended from the Chicago PD for brutalizing a black bouncer and calling him the N-word, I saw banners telling me to vote for the first black and Asian female president. All along North Halstead, there are Harris Waltz banners, posters, stickers, crop tops, and mugs in rainbow and Charlie XCX neon. The illusion of a choice championed by a chorus of wealthy gay business owners, gradually building to a roar, telling me to just stop holding my nose and let this brat green coconut-flavored, context-pilled, rainbow-sprinkled confectionery of a Giardia-infected turd slime dyed my throat. And I just finished a round of antibiotics. Now, voters don't live longer because they vote. They do because of correlations. Voters tend to come from wealthier backgrounds. They grow up with access to fresh food and quality hospitals, receive quality educations and complete advanced degrees. As adults, voters earn higher wages doing labor that does not dampen their brows, and they live in homes that they own, free from lead-tainted water and paint. All of these streams of influence flow downward, creating an individual who perceives life to be basically fair and the world oriented around a set of just rules. A person who lives a long time and lives well. A person who believes this nation is something worth defending. A person who votes. Admonishing the average Howard Brown patient who is queer, impoverished, and has limited healthcare access to vote for the sake of their health is to confuse the direction of cause and effect. It's like prescribing a furry with ketamine in hopes it will turn them into a horse. It's true that America has one of the lowest voter turnout rates in the industrialized world, with only 62% of eligible adults turning up on a good year, about 50% on a bad one. But if we really delve into the social science data, we can see that non-voters aren't just a bunch of nihilistic zillennial commie layabouts who prefer to die in a bridge collapse or of an untreated listeria infection than elect someone who isn't Skibbity Vladimir Lenin. No, the American electoral system has a series of unique features that sets it apart from every other democracy in the world, and which easily explains why we find voting so difficult, confusing, and unrewarding. So let's take a look at the many reasons why Americans don't vote. 1, we have the most frequent elections of any country. Most other democratic countries only hold major elections once every 4 or 5 years. In the US, we have some smattering of primaries, regional elections, state elections, ballot measures, midterm elections, and national elections basically every single year, often multiple times per year. We have elections more frequently than any other nation. But just as swallowing more antibiotics doesn't make you impervious to UTIs, and I've tried, voting hasn't given us more democracy. Number 2, we don't make Election Day a holiday. In 22 countries, voting is mandatory, like paying taxes or going to school. Most other countries make Election Day a national holiday or hold elections on weekends. The United States, in contrast, typically holds elections on weekdays during work hours in the country with the fewest worker protections in the industrialized world. You know how you're like 2 years behind on dental appointments? Imagine if there was a kind of dental appointment you had to study for by watching the news. And every time you showed up, there was like a 50% chance that your dentist just hit you in the face with an x-ray machine instead because some guy in Kansas had told him to do it. And that's how voting feels. Number 3, we make registration as hard as possible. From Denmark to Sweden to Iceland, Belgium, and Iraq, all eligible voters in most democracies are automatically registered to vote upon reaching legal adulthood. Here in the United States, though, voting is not a communal rite of passage, it's a personal choice, like recycling, wearing a mask, getting a vaccine, or staying home when your monkeypox sores are pulsating. Number 4, we make voters re-register far too often. In countries like Canada, Germany, and the Netherlands, voter registration updates automatically when a person moves. In the United States, anytime a person changes addresses, they have to go register to vote all over again. This policy disadvantages poorer and younger voters who move frequently because of job changes, schooling changes, or landlords who have decided to farm black mold colonies in their homes. Number 5, we limit access to polling places and mail-in ballots. In many countries, a voter can show up to any polling place. They don't have to show ID, and they can use a mail-in ballot for any reason. In the United States, you have to report to the very specific basement of a church, solve a Sphinx's puzzle, show your last 14 credit card statements, fingerprints, a well-lit hole pick, and your most recent colonoscopy results to be able to vote. Structural barriers such as mail-in ballot restrictions and voter ID laws help explain why over 50% of non-voters in the United States are people of color, and non-voters are overwhelmingly impoverished. Number 6, we have the longest, most expensive campaign seasons. Americans have some of the longest campaign seasons in the world, with presidential elections lasting about 565 days on average. For reference, the UK's campaign season is about 139 days, Mexico's is 147, and Canada's is just 50. Because our elections are so frequent and our campaigns are so long and expensive, American elected officials are in a nearly constant state of fundraising and campaigning. Most politicians spend more time trying to win their seat than actually doing their job. Imagine how much work you'd get done if you had to interview for your job every day. And now imagine that the person paying your wage actually didn't want you to do that job at all. Number 7, our elected officials do very little. As campaign seasons have gotten longer and more expensive, our elected officials have become lean-out quiet quitters of historic proportions. The 118th Congress is the least productive session in the historical record, having reviewed 11,000 pieces of legislation and passed only 82 in the last 2 years. Yeah. The Biden administration... I mean, I like not working. But the Biden administration's moved at a similarly glacial pace. Aside from leaping for the phone when Israel calls every couple weeks requesting checking account transfers, and that's literally how that works. They put in a phone call and they get a direct checking account transfer. The executive in chief has done little but fumble student loan relief and abortion protections and bandied about banning TikTok. The average age of American elected officials has been on a steady rise for some time now, with the obvious senility of figures like Biden, Mitch McConnell, and the late Dianne Feinstein serving as the most obvious markers of the government's stagnancy. And carting around a confused, ailing elder's body through the halls of power like a decommissioned animatronic requires a depth of indifference to human suffering that few outside of Washington can fathom. But more than that, it reflects a desperation from both parties to cling to what sources of influence and wealth they have. These aged figures are/were reliable simps for the Blackstone Group, General Dynamics, Disney, and APAC, and their loyalty is worth far more than their cognitive capacity. Their job, in a very real sense, is to not do their job, and a beating heart cadaver can do nothing pretty good. Number 8, public opinion has zero influence on policy. A study published by political scientists Martin Gillens and Benjamin Page out of Cambridge University Press found that, quote, the preferences of the average American appear to have a minuscule, near zero, statistically non-significant impact upon public policy. The study authors examined over 1,700 policies passed over a period of 20 years, then examined national public opinion surveys from that same time period. They found that lawmakers' policy decisions were strongly predicted by, quote, economic elites and organized groups representing business interests, whereas public opinion had statistically no relationship to which laws passed. A recent YouGov poll found that Kamala Harris could win 5 additional percentage points in battleground states simply by supporting an arms embargo against Israel, potentially winning her the election. She chose not to adopt this widely popular policy because satisfying the Israel lobby is far more important than victory. When the only options on the ballot are genocide, mass deportation, fracking, tax cuts for billionaires, and restrictions on youth access to transition on the one hand, and genocide, mass deportation, fracking, tax cuts for billionaires, and restrictions on youth access to transition on the other, but Lizzo and Taylor Swift are there, and one of the Border Patrol agents is wearing vintage flare jeans and a crocheted Bats Maru hat. Would-be voters find it hard to stay motivated. This is especially true if they live in a decisively blue or red state, where a vote carries almost no weight. Which brings us to number 9, most votes don't count. Reuters reports that the 2020 presidential election was decided by just 43,000 voters in 3 key states. That's less than 1% of all votes cast. If you voted outside of Georgia, Arizona, or Wisconsin in 2020, your vote had less influence on reality than kegling really fast would have on the barometric pressure of the room right now. And anyone who would like to try, feel free. It's good for your health. Admonishing a voter in solidly blue Illinois to go vote is like telling a person with moral OCD that the sun will only rise if they keep beating themselves with a scourge. It is a symbolic act. All those RuPaul banners might as well tell us to lift our hands in the air and charge up a spirit bomb that will finally murk Trump for good. In red states, of course, the facts are even more dismal. Thanks to decades of voter suppression and racist redistricting, a left-leaning vote is rendered useless, but you'll be blamed for the rightward shift of the country, no matter what you do. This takes us to the final damning feature of American politics that I'd like to highlight. 10, left-leaning perspectives are silenced. Every election season, the Dems claim electoral victory lies in the middle, that by appealing to a centrist voter who wants tax cuts, hates immigrants, supports all military endeavors, and is wary of trans people, they will win. Those of us who want social welfare, oppose genocide, and are at this very moment transgenderizing are told that we are anomalies. There's too few of us to really make any electoral difference. As each election draws to a close, though, Democratic leadership changes their tune. Now it's the overly principled, picky leftist who loses Democrats their elections. We don't turn out for liberals in high enough numbers. We criticize their candidates too much. We're so powerful and influential that by bowing out, we decide the fate of the country. But we're not so powerful that any politician ever does anything for us. We're expected to campaign for Kamala even within our own minds, to find a narrative for ourselves in which she's satisfactory when the Democrats have made no effort to provide one. And listen, I can convince myself that I'm a sexy puppy dog yapping on the floor enough to get myself some bacterial vaginosis. But there are limits to the human capacity for self-delusion. If you're a left-leaning person in the United States, I just want to tell you that whatever happens is not your fault. You're told that if you don't vote, you can't complain, that your vote is your way to be heard, but it's literally impossible for your viewpoints to be expressed within the existing political system. It was not built to include your perspective. You have zero power within it. In this, you are united with the vast majority of other human beings living in the country. And there is a power in us collectively realizing that. So please, let's all try to take a break from refreshing 538 and have a gander at the people around us who are just as frustrated, despairing, and disaffected as we are. And let's all get ready to charge up our spirit bomb. One of the best predictors of long-term health outcomes, after all, is not voting, but the presence of community support. Thank you.
Folks, give it up one more time for Devon Price. I thought you were going to say the predictor for long-term health was being Goku's friend. That's also true. Well, you come back. He finds the Dragon Balls. And also, in Dragon Ball World, hell is, fine. It's not even scary. It's like going to a little vacation. Anyway, next writer. We have another writer. We have actually 4 of them. That was just the first of the 4, and then we have the Skewer Debate. Yeah, I used to remember to describe what the show was going to be before I began, but it's been a long time. Bear with me. Our next writer is a writer and cartoonist living in Chicago. Several of his comics about depressed ducks in jean jackets number among the most emotionally devastating pieces of art I've ever seen. He is one of the great geniuses of all time. Please welcome Tom McHenry.
Holy moly, what an introduction. Thank you. One of the great geniuses. Well, this great genius is going to tell you that I got old waiting for the Skewer to come back. Since the last time I did a piece at the Skewer, I turned 40. Then I got older still several times after that. Those 4 years went by so fast, and I thought about how much faster my few decades remaining are gonna go, and I freaked myself out. We've got no children, we own no property, and have basically no retirement to speak of, so I started spiraling and reading about some of the things that we do with the elderly now when we don't have anything else to do with them. One of those things is this thing called the Town Square program. These are fake, indoor, 1950s era small towns for elderly dementia patients. And the thinking is that by creating an adult daycare, that's their terminology, not mine, by the way, that evokes a comfortable yesteryear, some of the estimated 5.7 million Alzheimer's patients, nearly all of whom are over 65, will have less agitated days as they continually reconnect their present selves with things that kind of evoke their past. For $95 a day, your loved one can visit literally a converted lumber warehouse where they can stroll over fake grass past 23 facades of never-was Main Street storefronts. Imagine a modestly ambitious high school theater department's production of Bye Bye Birdie. It's a budget facade of a never-was America under a black ceiling and populated by an inoffensive cross-section of items that will make your parent or grandparent say, "Oh yeah, that's a thing I kind of remember, except it used to be made in America and not made of foam core." They essentially reinvented the 50s throwback diner, in fact. And they even have a fake 50s style throwback diner inside the fake 50s style Main Street. And it looks faker than the 50s throwback diner in my hometown when I was growing up in the 1980s. I have a sense of how disappointing and strange that this must feel to experience, because I've been to one of those retro barcades that are designed to evoke my own childhood back to me. The kind of place where all the arcade games are free and the soundtrack is Q101's top 500 songs of the 90s, and the drinks are all named things like Clarissa Explains It Ale and the and the Reptartini. I was 10 years old in 1991, so I'm dead center for that packaged era. But the barcades do all the details on the cheap, and I get nauseous at the goofs and revealing mistakes. Nickelodeon's Legends of the Hidden Temple was never meant to be HD upscaled to fit into a widescreen aspect ratio. It was supposed to look like shit and give you something to half pay attention to instead of having friends. The town square, the barcade, they're both the unmet promise of a once beautiful free future sold back to you. And this is happening because capitalism is running out of futures. There is a great slavering economic death beast that is literally, currently, at this moment, chewing you and everyone you love to death right now, while you listen to me, one of the world's true beauties, worry about his retirement strategy. One way to picture this beast is, as some other geniuses have opined, a machine that needs blood. The machine is gonna get that blood. It's desperate for it to keep its genocide pistons pumping between boom and crash, bubble and bust. That is all true. But another image to consider is that of the beast with a furnace at its heart, and the fuel for this furnace is futures. We lop possible better days and brighter tomorrows down like trees and throw their logs into capital's inferno because market unpredictability means possibly higher profits for some dipshit who is some worse dipshit's nephew. If you lived in the real version of that fake 1950s town square Main Street, you probably assumed that your kids would live lives in the futures that were a lot like your own in the post-World War II style suburban home, supported by a single income union job, still all living under the compromise between labor and capital that was the envy of the world. The future would just have more automation, more leisure still, flying cars and rocket ships, and a spacesuit on the family dog when it got walked on the lunar colony. But by and large, it would be recognizable with markers of continuity to where you were living right then. And then we cut that future down and fed it to the furnace. And we put up a tombstone of 1950s chic. In the 1980s, Reagan's deregulation and growing neoliberal consensus had begun. And if you were my parents, you probably thought my future would be basically how you were living, but with more women working hard to have it all in high-powered corporate offices, in towering skyscrapers, on smaller and faster computers for megacorporations capable of providing a border-free global citizenry through some combination of computer implants and virtual reality interfaces. Fuck it. Another log on the fire. And in its place, the tombstones of a real 90s Kids Remember barcade. Now it's 2024, and tomorrow we're voting between genocide and ultra-genocide plus. The queasy vibe all over is that it's probably just gonna be like this for the conceivable future. The American monoculture is long shattered, and what remains of it is that every single person you know has 3 side hustles that they're trying to make into a living, viable alternative while they scramble to find a new day job because they were just laid off. The infrastructure is breaking down. The innovations, such as they are smaller and smaller. A slightly thinner phone, a slightly better camera on a slightly thinner phone. What if a spreadsheet no one wanted to write could almost generate itself? Nobody dares to dream of new future configurations anymore because everything is so exhausted of money or meaning or humanity. So all we can hope for are new coats of paint on old intellectual properties. Another Ghostbusters, another Star Wars, another fake storefront in a warehouse for the dementia patients of tomorrow. But then I had an idea for how we might use those places, those fake town squares and the warehouses around the country, to keep them important treatment centers for our suffering friends and families. And it starts with total revolution. So I can't picture a coherent future from here, but let's cheat. Let's imagine some miracle occurs right before the end of everything. We tally up all the votes between socialism and barbarism, and we don't pick barbarism. We line up for the war of all against all and decide not to bother. The old world lets out one last gasp, and the new world pops up, born easy and smiling. I don't know, maybe an angel does it. Maybe it's a genie. And now we're in fully automated luxury gay space communism. Hooray! Except, I think that in this world, more than a few of us are going to need a kind of long-term care at a place like a town square center facility. Because I can vouch that 43 years under American puritanical capitalism has so fully misshaped my brain that the prospect of a just, sustainable, better world would destroy me. Picture a caveman child. Picture you give that caveman child a basket of mozzarella sticks and a 2-liter of Mountain Dew. You have now shattered that child's ability to process flavor and awesomeness forever. That child is me and you, by the way, in a world that actually meets our needs. Decades of drinking from the poison well means that we think that's just what water tastes like now. See, to survive how we live now is to subject yourself to a traumatic disfigurement of conscience. Your ability to succeed depends on an ability to create in yourself a kind of moral dementia. It's good the boss is laid off, my friends, because now the right-sized company is set up for greater success than before. Kamala's acceptance of Palestinian genocide and embrace of literally Dick fucking Cheney is a savvy strategy, actually, because it will prevent bonus genocides and mass deportations. If I tip the DoorDash driver 30%, it's my way of signaling to her that I care about my fellow workers. Your values sundown, and you go back to work. We're going to need some kind of methadone capitalism, or we are all fucked for participating in the better world. We're going to need a place where damaged people like me can go and clock in and do fake work for fake money, for a fake boss, under fake threats of fake layoffs, or our learned cowardice is going to undermine the entire enterprise. You all can play your joyful solidarity game, but I cannot trust time to lean. It can only be understood to me as time to clean. I can't throw myself into the day-to-day work of rebuilding community and trust among my comrades. What if it leaves a gap in my resume? What if the bosses aren't actually dead, but just resting? What if the insurance companies are going to come back and consider ever having relaxed once as a pre-existing condition? The stomach ache warriors like me need to have a place in the revolution, but they need to be weaned off the idolatry of their own suffering first. The point of reminiscence therapy at a town center is to reconnect the elder with the self that their deteriorating cognition is losing track of, to provide a continuity between backward and forward. I'm saying we gotta get a treatment plan going to do the same for all of us toilers. A place where we can get smaller and smaller doses of guilt and shame and anxiety and busy work each week until we can get by without it. A social crutch to walk with until the bones of an actual self can re-knit. If you take away a person's boundaries and you take away their ability to pursue what they want to do long enough, they will get number and number until they begin to even have trouble articulating what it is that they want. And I tell you this from experience. We're okay with this culturally because we can slot in the needs of the market into the notch where there used to be a self. But if you take away that market and those bosses, what will grow there? What kind of sustained discomfort will it take to grow one's own values again? What kind of place are we going to need to help us learn who we are? Maybe we can take school buses of children on tours to these facilities, past a fake Chipotle and a facade sweet green, and through the fake, grim, open office plan like it's a pioneer village. Have a guide explain to the confused kids that these poor souls are trying to get the Q4 numbers up to meet the board estimates, or else they won't get a bonus this year, so their salary won't keep pace with inflation. Let them struggle to define these ridiculous terms. Let it be one last tombstone for a whole way of living, and our final doddering generation of survivors can cry at prop desks about missed fake deliverable timelines and numb it by going to fake online and buying some fake little treats. They're just sick, the guides can explain. and some of them can get better. Thank you.
One of the great geniuses of all time. What did I say? Again for Tom McHenry, please. Folks, how are you liking the skewer? How's our revival going? Is it good? You like it? I'm so happy. Well, it's about to feel a clench of anxiety because it's the audience participation portion. We're going to have our classic news quiz that everybody loves. I don't know how to do the classic news quiz. Thank you. I don't know how to do the classic news quiz. I'm too stupid. Of course, we need our host for the classic news quiz, Kevin Johnson. Kevin, please come up to the stage to do the classic news quiz. Kevin, how's the classic news quiz work? It's been 4 years. People don't remember.
It's not going to work well because that person just came over here and made that mic way taller than I am.
You can move it down.
I know. That's not the point, Tom. Jesus. Okay. Anyway, Tom. So yes, like he gives everyone else these intros and it's like, yeah, I'm not a writer. I'm just tedious. Yeah, right. So over the weekend, there was that whole like hour change thing, right? You guys experienced that too, right? Thank you. Do any of you have pets? A couple of you. Okay, cool. So when you woke up and forgot about that hour change, did your pet like screaming at you just like shock you into existence? Right, that's the first quiz you fucked up. This is the second. Right. So yeah, it's basically, it's very simple. It's 2 truths and a lie with some headlines from the previous month, and I might have fudged that, but more or less that. So it's very simple. 3 sets of 3 headlines. You just tell me which one's wrong, and then we move on with our lives. So yes, I need a volunteer. Do I have one?
I'll volunteer, sir. He's volunteering.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very enthusiastic.
Okay. Is this like, wait, don't tell me?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, you are going to wait, and I might tell you.
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, they used to give us drink tickets, but they don't anymore. So you might get this sticker. You probably won't, but you might.
Don't tease me like that, Kevin.
What's your name?
Joe. Joe.
Okay.
Thank you, bartender.
Oh. Ooh.
Always great service here at Cafe Mustache.
Yeah, look at that. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so of the first set of the 3, your first story is man arrested for using AI to create fake bands and fake albums and fake fans to listen to all of that to the tune of millions of royalties. Did you put that in your head?
Yep, I'm listening.
Right.
That is, I
No,
get
no.
it. Oh, okay.
Did it? Not yet.
I say at the
You're
end.
gonna
At the
want
end.
all 3.
Okay, good.
And
good,
then you're
good.
gonna tell me.
I think that's
If
better
you
for
did
me.
if you did it one shot, that would be fucking
I-
amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah on that one actually,
Okay.
but let's hear the others.
Okay, yeah, let's hear the others. Okay, the Vatican unveiled an official anime girl mascot.
I don't think that's right.
You don't think that's right?
I don't think that.
Don't help them also.
I don't think they don't. The Vatican.
Not that
does-
you know, but
the Vaticans don't care about girls. I don't think. But continue.
all right. Okay.
I don't think
Story-
they're not thinking about that.
Story 3. A college-aged man was injured after reprogramming his Roomba to instead suck his penis.
That's probably true.
Yeah, they're all probably true. Which one
This is
isn't?
the Vatican. They don't care about They don't care about girls. I watched Conclave 2 nights ago. They don't care about ladies or women. And I knew that before Conclave. Conclave firmed it up for me. It did.
Actually, there was Archbishop Reno, what's his name? Fisichella. And he said the mascot named Luce is created from the desire to enter into the world of pop culture, so beloved by our young people. which they should stay away from.
God damn it. Well, here's the thing. He's an archbishop. Is he a cardinal?
No. I'm telling you.
Okay. I mean, is he part of the curia? Because I learned that on Conclave.
He is an archbishop.
There's a thing about the curia, and that's different.
That's like a spell in Final Fantasy.
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway,
It's a good movie.
no, the Roomba one was fake. That was the
Man,
fake one.
I thought that was real for sure. 100%.
I know, that's-
yeah.
That's
I don't
the
know what-
thing I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Okay.
so
All right.
the-
That was really good.
The
That was
real
good.
the real headline there was a hacked U.S. robot vacuums are actually yelling racial slurs and chasing pets.
Fuck. Man.
Yeah.
But I was just reading about the robots in Ukraine. They're killing the Russians like crazy with them drones. That's what I've been reading.
That's
And
true,
you know
but that's
what?
not a
I
robot.
say good. Kill them Russians with them drones. Fuck
All right.
Putin.
All right. Yeah. Second
I
set.
hate to get on my soapbox, but you invited me up here. Fuck Putin, okay?
That is true.
All right, go ahead.
Second set. All right. Let's see what happens. Second set.
Let's see what happens.
First story. Police say German pizzeria serves menu item number 40 with a side of cocaine.
That's true. I read that. New York Times subscription.
Did you read it or just the headline?
I read the headline, but and maybe the first paragraph, the lead. I think you call it Kevin.
Okay, we'll see.
Continue with your next,
All right, we'll see.
trick.
The Sinaloa cartel member is suing P. Diddy for $666,000 over alleged damages to his drug business. Oh, you didn't read that one?
I didn't read that one.
Well,
It's
bitch.
fucking sounds true. I mean, okay, let's hear the other one.
All right, third
Okay.
one.
All right, let's hear the
Sadistic-
other one.
A sadistic opera in southwest Germany has 18 audience members leave after they are showered in pube trimmings.
That sounds, I don't know. Germans are into some kinky shit. I
know.
think that's probably true.
Wow.
Yeah.
That-
yeah.
that's
I'm
what
going to go ahead. I'm going to go with that one. That's true.
No.
No,
No.
that's not true.
No,
the
it's
Germans
not.
in the, damn it. It's the second one was true?
See, if we were playing this game opposite, you'd be very good.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm going to, so the second one was true.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's not going to get anywhere with that, though.
All right,
But
all
yeah,
right,
there's
all right.
Sanctus Susanna. There's actually 18 people that needed medical attention. Yeah. So yeah, it has like actual lesbian sex in it, piercings that happen, and lots of blood. So they get queasy or something. I don't know.
Huh. Okay. All right. I think next question, audience involvement would be appreciated because that's what they do on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
It would
if
be
I'm not fucking wrong, and they tell you, they're like, ha ha ha, yeah, that one, and then I could say more confidently. I'm just saying. So maybe we could try that next question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not Peter Sagal, but we'll
I
see.
think we should try that. Thank you, sir. I'm counting on the beverage after this, regardless of what happens. The next question. Dang.
Yeah. Okay, I just want
What time's that Blue Line train coming?
whenever you need
Real
it.
soon. Real
But,
soon.
Okay, I just want a fun fact. The reason I said pube trimmings is because what the hell's her name? She's on SNL now, but I went to her show. Yes, score. Yes, Sarah Score. Like over at fucking Uncharted bookstore, she did that where she had pubes in a fucking Ziploc and passed it around. And I'm like, now you're on SNL with fucking Kamala Harris. And it's
Was it
fucking
her
weird.
pubes or somebody else's
She
pubes?
said it was hers.
Okay. All right.
That's all the information I got for you there.
All right. I don't know.
All right,
It's the
third
first
set
I've
of stories.
heard of it.
Cookie Monster caught speeding by German police. This traffic camera snaps pic of the Sesame Street staple. That could be true.
Okay.
Halloween just happened.
Okay. Relying on the audience for this next onslaught.
They can't help you. Even if they wanted to, they can't.
I think you can.
Story 2. LAPD raid goes
Survey your heart.
from
Go ahead.
bad to farce after a gun allegedly lost to bad bet against a gambling ring.
Okay. Cops fucking up. That's probably true.
Yeah. But also the military is fucking up because a Navy commander is relieved of duty after a photo showed him firing his rifle with the scope backwards.
That's probably true too.
Yeah.
I don't need the audience for this one. It was the first one. That's
The Cookie Monster one? Or do you think it's-
I forgot. You know what? The lights, everything's blinding.
I'll-
Am I meant to say what's true or what's not true?
the one that I edited to be not true.
What is not true?
So you have
the first one. Not
one
true.
is Cookie Monster, 2 is the LAPD,
Cookie Monster.
and 3 is the Navy guy.
Can I get some audience feedback here, though? Jesus Christ. Okay, Cookie Monster, they say, and I also I felt from the beginning. It's time of truth, time of justice.
No.
Jeez, this is the toughest game show.
No. I was lying to him. He did. Technically, you got 2 out of the 3. So I don't know if we could let you whatever. But anyway.
I think in the spirit of things.
But no.
I think it's that good.
I pretty much gave you a hint where it was like the Halloween thing. It was that. It was a guy in a costume. But anyway, no, the second one was false. That's the one I edited. So they actually
the police were right.
LAPD.
The LAPD was right, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah. The LAPD went on a raid, and they got their gun taken away by an MRI machine. It just launched into space by the
magnetically,
Yeah.
man, that's kind of a funny visual. So that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm all right with that. That's okay.
But
that's
yeah.
okay.
So actually, you got 2 out of 3. I was messing.
Whew. Do I get like somebody's voicemail, like a message? You know, like when they do. Wait. Can I get your voice? Your
For when your mother calls.
Good.
I guess.
She'd be like,
Who else is calling these days?
my mother.
Exactly. Yeah. I
sister.
mean, you could have a sticker for coming up.
All right. Hey, thanks everybody. Appreciate. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it.
If you want a drink, I will get you one for being brave.
You know what? I think bartender gonna hook me up, right, bartender?
Maybe. We'll see. It's up to you. I felt like that went a while. I did create a second one, but I will let you come up. Yeah, I know. I had prepared a second one just in case, but it doesn't matter because Tom is here now.
Thank you for Kevin for doing the most audience contemptuous game show that ever was. No one does the trick questions that are just like crushingly impossible like Kevin. Thank you again to Joe for just eating up the scenery. You went on and on, my man. That's what we want. I'm joking, but it's what we want. It's true. Before we move on, just a couple of things. I don't know if you noticed as you were walking in, because some people came in before it was set up, but we got a donation bucket right there. If you want to give us money, we're just going to divide it up amongst the writers. So you don't have to. It is free. But if you're like, those people are so funny, then you can do that. Also, we're going to pass around that hat. We were going to do it later, but let's just do it now. Who fucking cares? You can put money in the hat. It's like the same as the bucket. They're just containers. Also, I was going to say it. Oh, thank you to Cafe Mustache for having us back. Holy shit. It's all new people. I was scared they'd be mean, but they're not. We're actually going to, at their request, because, it makes sense, take a little 5-10 minute break so that you can, if you want to go to get something at the bar, you can do that without feeling like you're interrupting everything. But we're going to be back very soon for our next 2 writers. And then for the Skewer debate to close out the night, and then you're going to leave and you're going to have a great time. Yeah, it's about to be going even better because we got our 2 incredible writers to bring up here, and then we're going to end the evening with the delicious and delightful Skewer debate. But first, our next writer is Joe Anderson. Joe was a senior program manager until he got an email that said, you have to put your laptop in the mail now. He, along with me, is host of Anime Sickos podcast. The best podcast in the world, arguably the only podcast, many have said this, and he is also, and this is the most critical point, one of the great geniuses of all time. Please welcome Joe Anderson.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
No, that sucks. How about now? Is that better? Much better, wonderful. I'm wearing a hat because I got a haircut, and the next day I realized it was Zoomer hair. No, fucking fine. Hello. As Tom said, I'm Joe Anderson. This is now my 6th time on the Skewer, which again is a Chicago institution, which makes me an institution of a Chicago institution, which means I'm going to heaven unless I fuck up. This is my first time doing anything on stage in 4 years. This is so fun. What was the reason Tom said we stopped? It was like one of his goofers, right? I would remember a virus. The biggest change between now and the last time I got on stage is now I have a son. He's perfect. His name is Ivan, full name Ivan Goku Lin Goku Anderson. Obviously, having a kid changes your life because now there's this guy in my house that wasn't there before. But the most surprising change for me is my dreams have changed. Allow me to explain in a way that flawlessly transitions into my news item. Before he was born, Ivan, my son, I had the same dream over and over for years. You know, in a dream where, for example, you are falling. At the point of impact, you wake up or at least get a dream scene change. I never figured out how to do that. The dream with minor variation is like this. I am anxiety walking towards an appointment I am late for, and then I am sniped in the gut. At which point the dream switches from kind of first person to third person, sort of like top down, like when you die in GTA and it's like wasted. I would be stuck in this third person for what felt like an actual hour. At the hour mark, this is where the dream would get unpleasant. Another perspective switch, this time back to first person, and the third person death cam is actually something on a monitor. I'm strapped to the chair so I can't look away, but in my hand there is a remote with one button, and now I have to play the game. The game and what I have to do was never explained because I was born knowing how to play. I can only wake up from my dream if I press the remote at the exact time my body transitions from Joe to corpse. I'm pretty good at it because I always wake up. Sort of a bummer, yes, but it's done. My son changed all this. Sweet dreams from now on. Now my repeating dream is about me and my son. It's the road. And I have been shot and I'm dying. As I start to fade in my dream, my son says, "Dad, before you go, what's the most important thing you want me to know about the old world before everything got apocalypse fucked?" Well put, son, I say. More than anything, I need you to understand that the most defining aspect of the before time was that it was more fun to go on the computer. Last month, the Internet Archive was knocked offline by a DDoS attack. I think saying Internet Archive sort of undersells the bundle of services they offer to the public. Taking a weird drink. But this includes the Wayback Machine, which lets you look at previous versions of websites dating back to the 90s. What do you think the GameFAQs poll of the day was on 9/11? You could find out. When this DDoS attack happened to this unambiguously good website, I had two thoughts. A lot of that shit on the Internet Archive does not exist in other centralized locations, which means it has tons of media that, if nuked, is gone forever, which means that this is less about vandalizing a website and more about vandalizing our collective memory. The other thought I had is you're only supposed to DDoS work shit.
You were supposed to make Microsoft Teams go down on a Friday for the whole country. Technically speaking, there's a here's how they excuse me. Technically speaking, there's a shit ton of humanity on this site. We are talking 835 billion web pages, 440 million books and texts, 50 million audio recordings, which includes 250,000 concerts, 10.6 million videos, 2.6 million of which are TV, 4.8 million images, 1 million software programs. Here's how they describe their service in their own words. The Internet Archive serves millions of people each day and is one of the top 300 websites in the world. A single copy of the Internet Archive library occupies 145 petabytes of server space, and we store at least 2 copies of everything. We are funded through donations, grants, and by providing web archiving and book digitization services for our partners. You want to know how good the Internet Archive is? That description was from 2009. If you think I wrote about this subject because I'm an avid user of the Internet Archive services, you are so wrong, it is insane. I will not allow myself to look at the Internet Archive because I have a family. I found all the Super Nintendo shit right away like a truffle pig. Just sort of a temperature check on the powers that be. If the internet completes its transformation into psychology-optimized slop, the Internet Archive is our best tool to see not just an older internet, but when everything was driven by a vision for the web that was, like, good. As of this morning, it was not fully restored. Although the site is recovering from the DDoS attack, I have a feeling in my gut that ambitious and critical projects like the Internet Archive is not long for this world. For a few reasons. As we established, a single cyber attack runs the risk of punching a hole in our creative memory, and it worked once, too, to great effect, so proof of concept. People likely remember that Chuck Wendig's publisher sued the Internet Archive about his stupid Star Wars books. There will be more of that. I do a little thought exercise to help predict on how something might go. Whenever you are thinking about some facet of society, or perhaps a good or service, and are wondering what will happen to it, just imagine it will eventually wind up in front of the bad guy from Space Jam. And just want to remind everyone that upon learning about the sport of basketball in the NBA, his immediate reaction was, I need to make Michael Jordan a slave, or he would be forced to dunk in a Space Ripley's Believe It or Not for the rest of his natural life. So the Internet Archive and its value to humanity is in front of the Space Jam guy now. Honestly, he is indifferent to the Internet Archive. He knows it's fun to look at old maps of the Chicago South Steelworks, but he is making a lot of money lazily rebooting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles again and again, and it's in its best interest if we do everything possible to whittle away our collective memory. For this reason, it is only logical that he dismantled the Internet Archive. He also really loves AI because his fetish is when a babe has a hand that's fucked up when you look closer. So for that reason, before he nukes it for the public, he will feed all that humanity into an AI data set, thus fully privatizing it. You should be pissed about this. If you ever worked on a laptop office job, you know one of the worst things that can happen to you is you are shown a new diagram or chart and you get interested. I had that happen to me with a little something called an organizational capability diagram. Every job has an org tree because every org tree is fucking useless outside of looking up someone's boss because job titles give you no information. We all know this. But an organizational capability is not focused on people, but every function and capacity in an organization. I'm using these awful work words because I want you to imagine that going on the computer as a business with an organizational capability chart. All the fun shit you could do on the internet, including the Internet Archive, is either worse, paywalled, or in existential danger. The idea of a steady supply of new fun websites seems impossible because something you would return to daily, because all productive capacity for the web is committed to scaling SaaS offerings for private equity. if you did a time lapse of this internet capability chart over the years, starting with when you first started going online, you would find capabilities got worse. Offerings were consolidated and bundled under shittier services. And at some point, you would find that Google realized that being evil kicks ass. They made search insanely worse, and in that process made endless feeds so that you don't control, so they seem preferable. So it's really easy to just think of this as a website with a bunch of media that would not be otherwise available to the public, but it's also very much a social process which can be damaged. If there is only one takeaway, it's that the archive isn't just a bunch of content. It represents a social process, the culmination of a lot of work from various institutions, universities, and countless individuals. Do people know about the Chuck Wendig lawsuit, the Hatchet versus Internet Archive? I don't have a lot of time to spend on that because he sucks. My issue with him, he's always breathing. But the outcome of that trial was that there were permanent changes to the Internet Archive's library lending program, although it was originally feared the whole thing would be shut down, and that didn't happen. That's good, right? Better outcomes for sure, but this is why I think it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. All you have to do is make it legally dubious to continue to work with an organization that's getting sued and or hacked on the regular, and it dies. So what do you think is going to happen in the Internet Archive? What do I think is going to happen to the Internet Archive? Well, I think it's going to get worse. That's what I've been saying this whole time. Thank you.
One more time for Joe Anderson. Hell yeah. Yes. Folks, I'll say it. Anime Sickos podcast. Hell yeah. It was too long, people have not been saying this. Our final op-ed writer before we get to the skewer debate, which will end the night, is Sara McHenry, a writer living in Chicago. One of her tweets about how receiving a good grade in therapy is normal to want and possible to achieve is easily within the top 1% of all jokes ever written. You can buy a sticker or patch of this joke from her Etsy page today. I did, it's good. And you can also get a real good grade in therapy by telling your therapist you saw Devon Price in real life. Sara is one of the great geniuses of all time, by the way. Please welcome Sara McHenry.
Hello. Does it seem to anyone else that drivers largely went insane over the first year of the pandemic and they haven't switched back? My crosswalk near misses have skyrocketed. Combined with my advancing age and dwindling ability to give a shit, I've started doing exaggerated gestures at drivers or yelling at them. I'm like this close to pounding on the hoods when they pull into a crosswalk and then stop. My least favorite one is when they make a rolling stop at a stop sign while also waving me through. Do it or don't, I got places to be. Here's where I'll bravely disclose my bias and tell you that I can't drive. Not like I'm bad at it, but like I've been behind the wheel of a car maybe twice since I got a C- in driver's ed at age 15. I've never had a license. I don't hate cars as a concept. I love the Fast and Furious movies. I just think we probably fucked up designing our entire culture around them. I've been telling my loved ones, and I guess now I'm saying it in a public forum, when I get pancaked by a lifted pickup truck, please make sure to say at my funeral that I knew it was going to happen. Like maybe there's a picture of me up there with a word balloon saying LOL, LMAO. I just want to get out in front of this because the worst thing that can happen to you as an American is that you're tricked. Whatever happens to me is fine as long as I get to be right. See, I'm right to be afraid of cars when I'm walking. Pedestrian traffic fatalities hit a 4-decade high in 2021. The reason for this is something you've probably noticed. Cars keep getting fucking bigger, dude. It's not our imaginations. The EPA tells us that the average new car purchased in the US weighs 4,400 pounds. Compare that with 3,300 in the EU and 2,600 in Japan. And it makes sense that that average would be high because 80% of new vehicles sold in the US are trucks or SUVs. 80%. I'm old enough to remember when it was considered morally suspect to drive an SUV to your computer job. Now it's the norm. The term for this phenomenon is car bloat, and it's a safety nightmare for pedestrians. These monster trucks are taller and longer, so they have enormous blind spots. They're so tall that they hit pedestrians higher up on their bodies, i.e. more lethally. This is especially bad for short people who don't know anything yet, children. I learned about something truly horrifying called front-over crashes. That's when a driver moving slowly forward hits a person. It's like backing over, but in front. This usually involves people pulling into driveways, driving in their apartment complexes, places close to home. That's why when these accidents happen, mostly to children 6 and under, the driver is usually someone they know. People are running over their own children because they don't fucking see them from 14 feet back and 10 feet up. At that distance, pedestrians are hard to see, and small children are basically insects. I had trouble writing any jokes for this section because it's so deeply sad. Unlike some of these other cowards, Tom McHenry, Joe Anderson, Dr. Devon Price, I'm brave enough to say, I think it's bad when children die in preventable accidents. Car bloat and the attendant deaths are a public health issue, just as much as COVID and gun violence. It comes down to this American idea of safety as a zero-sum game, an individual pursuit based on the twin principles of personal responsibility and fuck you got mine. You'll notice we haven't had the skewer in several years because a lot of people, largely men with round red faces, the kinds of guys whose wives quietly call the next day to apologize for the things he said at dinner, decided to make the idea of not spreading deadly disease into a culture war topic. Toddler-like contrarianism and far-right groupthink led a lot of these chuds to proudly proclaim what the rest of us already kind of guessed, that other people aren't real to them. They're just NPCs, and whatever happens to them is their fault. These big cars are like if you could have a KN95 that protected you from COVID while giving everyone in a 6-foot radius double COVID. When any spokesperson for any car company is asked about, hey, don't these death machines result in death? They point to their advanced driver assistance systems like pedestrian detection and automatic braking. Pedestrian detection like windows and mirrors is outmoded. Now they're trusting cameras and sensors that, by the way, don't fucking work. Like everything else they're trying to automate away from us, it works some of the time, which is actually the worst amount of the time for life-saving technology to function. The thing preventing me from getting crushed by a war rig is the same bullshit that's supposed to register a person standing in front of a sink. Cool. Join me on a late night walk, won't you? Henry Ford is dead and in hell, but his eugenicism lives on. Ford, or more accurately, an agency paid an amount of money that would hurt my feelings to know, actually invented the word pedestrian to try to shift blame back onto us humble sidewalk users. Safety experts say that distracted walking isn't a significant problem. It's actually all that other stuff I just said. They're right to have thought that pedestrian would take off, though, because it was the automobile lobby who invented the term jaywalking in, 1910. Before that, it was assumed that everyone had equal right to using the street. People walking, children playing, horses, carriages. But then people started selling cars, and they wanted those cars to not hit people. So they said, hey, look at that idiot walking in the street using his disgusting human hooves. Gross, right? Only a poor person would do that. And it worked. We still call it jaywalking today. You may know that as I was researching this piece, New York City, despite the ambivalence of the dim-witted second grader who made a wish and woke up as mayor, Eric Adams, made jaywalking legal. I think that rules. The anti-jaywalking law was used as an excuse to do racism, obviously, but it's important for other reasons too. It's important to make it the law that people have as much right to exist as cars do. Personally, I think if I want to jaywalk while wearing headphones and looking at my phone, oh shit, I got my pages mixed up. That's my right as an American and a Chicagoan, and if I die, that's your problem. There's an infuriating car commercial from a couple years back. I tried to find it on YouTube for this, but can't, because car commercials are something we have to see literally constantly, but you can never find one again when you want because they're visual and cognitive trash. This ad features an attractive middle-class couple being accosted by a man looking at his phone in the street. Luckily, their car senses the guy and automatically stops for them. But they'd have been right to hit him, right? He forfeited his life with his choices. Hang his body from the traffic light as a warning to others. So you might be saying, hey, Sarah, or maybe you already forgot my name, and you're saying, hey, aren't there laws about what kind of car you can sell? And the answer is a resounding kind of. Way back in 1965, a young man named Ralph Nader published a book called Unsafe at Any Speed. Yeah, that's right. Clap it up for Ralph Nader. Yeah! By the way, if you haven't looked up what young Ralph Nader looks like, smoke show. Thank you. He published the book called Unsafe at Any Speed, and he's broadly speaking why we have seatbelts. From that book and the reactions to it, like how GM had him followed and harassed, they actually sent teenage girls to try to seduce him for Oppo. We have vehicle safety standards. Surprise, I'm here to talk about how regulations save lives again. Now, hold on, because you're gonna get a lot of names of government departments thrown at you, but we're gonna get through this together. Because of Ralph Nader, we have the US Department of Transportation and one of its subsidiaries, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The fact that highway modifies the word safety might indicate to you where their priorities lie. The NHTCA publishes a guide called Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, and every single car sold in the US has to conform to those standards. The FMVSS has never, from its inception to this day, included any safety guidelines that apply to people who aren't in the car. They do not, and have never, given a shit about pedestrians or cyclists. They also run the New Car Assessment Program, which evaluates a car's safety. And these safety ratings are helpfully displayed at the car dealership. This program also addresses only the safety of the occupants of the vehicle being assessed. When the US invented the New Car Assessment Program in 1983, other countries thought it was such a good idea that they invented their own, modeled on ours. They've now surpassed us, adding regulations that affect people who aren't in the car, like the size of blind spots and the shock absorption of the hood. Those regulations are why Dr. Musk's fantabulous semi-aquatic contraption, the Cybertruck, which looks like someone drew the cool S in AutoCAD and added wheels, is not legal for sale in the EU. I got all messed up again, I'm sorry. Here in the land of personal responsibility, everyone goes to the dealership, looks at the numbers, and buys the safest car they can, which of course they do, right? But the safest car is a tank, because we're defining safety as an individual concern, not a public one. The safest car is one that will crush a Toyota Corolla beneath its wheels and grind its occupants to dust. Automakers love this arms race because the bigger a car is, the bigger the profit margin is. So every year, cars get bigger, and older cars get less relatively safe, and pedestrians get more dead. I came across this line in an article in The Economist from this year, which goes so hard I have to share it verbatim. Such rational individual decisions have led to a suboptimal outcome for society as a whole. Put that on America's tombstone, right? The automaker's line is, we know our cars will kill you if they hit you. We're trying to make them a little bit less likely to hit you. Whereas driver's line is, I know I'm gonna hit something. Pedestrian, other car, the front window of a 7-Eleven. My objective is to survive and to protect my family. It's sort of castle doctrine for the road. You can stand your ground on any ground. So, Act 3. Is anyone going to do anything about this? People are trying. For the past few years, people keep trying to add pedestrian and cyclist safety regulations to the FMVSS, and it keeps not happening. This is the point of the piece where I pull the mask off the villain. Mayor Pete, you again! Rat Boy and his Department of Transportation seem to be backing up the auto industry's line. What we really need is driver assistance technology, the thing that doesn't work. However, here's the news angle, and it concerns you. In September, the NHTSA actually proposed a new standard to be added to the FMVSS. It's called pedestrian head protection because they say 70% of pedestrian injuries are to the head. That's bad. We keep so much important stuff in there. Yes, like all our plastic, that's correct. This regulation is the barest minimum. It addresses how hard the hood is, so when a person's head hits it, the metal absorbs the impact without letting the skull hit the engine. You want just the right amount of give, like a ripe avocado. So here's where you come in. They have a public comment period of 60 days through November 18th. So right now, please, take out your phone or your little notebook and leave yourself a reminder that says NHTSA pedestrian regulation comment. Tomorrow, look that up and leave a comment telling them a strange woman yelled at you about this. No, wait. Don't say that. Don't say that. Tell them you want to walk to the grocery store without getting your brains splattered on the street. It's really not so much to ask for from a government. Thank you.
One more time for Sara McHenry. Folks, fuck all cars. I disdain them greatly. All right, folks, last entertainment of the night is going to be the skewer debate. It's a classic thing that we do when we get two writers up here. I have assigned them in advance a funny topic for them to debate about. They're going to say some fucking jokes. Then you say who you like better. Yay. We used to have a prize, but then I forgot that we did so there's no prize. It's just for fun. Are we ready for fun? All right. No prize. Our first debatant, Josh Watkins, is a writer and bookseller from the American South. He recently returned after getting an MFA in fiction writing in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, a town that should be napalmed to smithereens. He once described himself to me as the angriest person he knows. He is the official SKEWER election correspondent. As a voice actor, he played the vile policeman Todd Kill in the audio drama Sicko Shock 2 that I produced last year. He's currently at work on a novel about being dead. That's the thing you do most, really. I didn't. He said this. It'd be weird if I put this in. This is his words. He loves Amanda very much. Please welcome Josh Watkins. Oh, here he comes. He's going to get me. Oh, no. That's Josh. Hi, Josh. Turning the page. Oh, the next text debater. Can you believe it? It's Erica Dreisbach. She is, again, I really have to stress that I did not write this bio because it makes me sound so fucking good. Erica Dreisbach is a writer, artist, and computer programmer in Chicago, co-producer of The SKEWER. Almost 10 years ago, Erica's life was changed when she killed it at Right Club, naturally, and then recognized the supreme comedic genius of another writer who also killed it, and befriended that writer on the spot. Folks, that writer's name, me. Who permanently, again, I didn't fucking write this, who permanently altered the course of Erica's creative life and regular life for the better. Erica is one of the great geniuses of all time. I forgot to say Josh was one of the great geniuses of all time. He is. Isn't it incredible that we have so many geniuses? Anyway, SKEWER debate. This is going long, but what can I do? It's so good. What's there to cut? Don't answer. Here's the debate topic. As we all know, it's been discussed at length. The two-party system in American democracy is broken. The insane, howling evil of Trump and the GOP has allowed Democrats to become what they always wanted to be, 1980s Republicans. Confident that their base will be more terrified of the alternative than angry at the reality. Now, if this was a real democracy, we would have a viable third-party candidate. We don't. Don't tell me anyone that we do. Don't tell me to vote my conscience with Jill No, I won't. There is no viable third-party candidate. But what if there was? Who would it be? That's our fun thought exercise. Who should it be? Josh, who will you be arguing should be our viable third-party candidate? Who's your idea?
Josh Watkins.
Oh, my God. Erica, who do you think should be the viable third-party candidate?
Erica Dreisbach.
Yeah, that's pretty good. This is why we have two microphones. We've done this every time for the entire 5 years we've done it. They've never been used at the same time. It's for fun. So here's how it's going to go. One of you, I'm just going to say it's Josh because I'm pointing at you right now. You are going to say your opening statement first. You're going to lay out your pitch. Then Erica is going to do the same. Then I'm going to come up on stage and ask you some fucking questions to probe deeper. And then it'll end.
Okay. I made Tom print this in really big font so that I can see it. And then I rolled it up and I put it in my pocket and now it's all fucked up. I'm going to hold it. Hello. All right. Back in the skewers heyday, am I going to yell a lot? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. It's not crazy loud? No. Okay, because the decibels will go up. Back in the skewers heyday, as official, unofficial elections correspondent, I fearlessly held our political candidates' feet to the fire. Oh, how the flames of truth tickled their little toesies. And now some of you might be thinking, oh, Josh Watkins would be an epic socialist president. He's going to behead the landlords and nationalize Chewy.com. Not that simple. Because if there's one thing I've learned as a citizen of this country, it's that the President of the United States is incapable of doing things that are good. All right? Remember this? Let me be clear. We're going to shut down Guantanamo Bay. Sorry, can't do it. We just have to find some other place to torture people. Speaking of Cuba, maybe the president could lift the sanctions and trade embargo and misery the island. That sounds good. No! Miami would secede. Pitbull would put a $1 million hit on the POTUS's head. Can't be done. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted health care? Take the shitty website. It's basically the same thing. Oh, and I'm sure you think it's so easy for the president to stop the genocide in Gaza. But Joe Biden's hands are tied, bound by the fragrant hair of a 9-year-old girl child. He's really ticked off at that rascal Netanyahu. But there's literally nothing he can do. Even if tomorrow I assumed the office and instantly shut off the Israeli weapons faucet, John Fetterman would squeeze me until my head popped like a seedless grape. No jury would convict him. It would be my fault for trying something good. Should I defeat Erica Dreisbach in this evening's debate, everyone in this room will be drafted into a vanguard party. Together, we will execute my 3-point plan to completely overhaul this dog-shit nation and start from scratch. Here's the vision. 1, I will win the presidency with all of you as my cabinet. 2, as president, I will create such chaos that I become the most universally loathed man alive. 3, you will harness an enraged populace to enact a revolutionary coup, execute me, and finally build a country that isn't a charnel house of human misery. Step 1, secure presidency. This is the easiest part. It is. You guys remember Andrew Yang's third party called the Forward Party? Because they're not left, not right, but forward? Me neither. But we'll need to infiltrate it and make it a vehicle for my candidacy because those coffers have a lot of funny money sloshing around for us to spend on pop-up ads. My campaign will be run by a David Shore algorithm, using data metrics to pinpoint each position to the exact mathematical center. People smarter than me swear this is the only way to win votes. Some of you will have to register fictional characters to vote. We will cheat, and we will win. Step 2, as president, I cut America's brakes. Now, some of you are thinking, oh, a president's going to ruin this country. Sounds like Donald Trump. Yes, but a quarter of our population thinks he's a Chad crusader vanquishing woke pedophiles from Swamp Town. I will have no such base. My presidency will make no one happy. It will be objectively humiliating to support me. I will become the Earth's bastard. We must destroy the very fabric of this nation, starting with its symbols. Day one, the Star-Spangled Banner. Dog shit. Awful song. Dump it. Our new national anthem is a little ditty by Marduk titled Fist Fucking God's Planet. Some of you may know this song. And the kids gotta sing it at school, sorry. Similarly, the American flag. Democrats, Republicans, everyone loves the flag. Okay, no spin zone. It is one of the worst designed flags in modern history. It sucks to look at. I will make it mandatory to burn all existing American flags. The new flag will be a pea soup green. And in the center of the flag will be a clip art crying baby holding a Smith & Wesson Model 500, very long. It will never fly at half-mast. I don't care what happens. We're changing the name of the Lincoln Memorial to the Pedophile Memorial. No further questions. Then there's the time-honored tradition of the White House dog. Here's my plan. 60 massive inbred pit bulls. Off leash. Rib cages showing. Roaming the White House looking for trouble. America's vast anti-pit bull constituency will burn me in effigy. The pro-pit bull bloc will feel validated, finally. The leader of the free world acknowledges this malign breed as the gentle giants they are. But inevitably, when my dogs shred some diplomat's kid, I will have no choice but to execute by firing squad all 60 inbred pit bulls in the Rose Garden. Yes, it will be televised. Like a serial killer, I will escalate. As chief executive, I will use wireless emergency alerts to send unblockable text messages to every phone in America. Every day, whatever I feel like. Hello, America. Last night I had the craziest dream where my dad was a sunflower. Hello, America. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. Unblockable. And you might object. Surely someone will stop this madness. Where are the courts? Baby, I packed them. The Supreme Court now features Tom and Sara McHenry, John Keogh, Kevin Barnett, M. Haverty, Devon Price, and what's your name? Meredith. Congratulations, Justice Meredith. You will be tasked with upholding my whims. By my first State of the Union address, my approval rating should pull within the margin of error. International relations, I solemnly swear to make the Pope look at goatsy. He has to see it. We are annexing Canada. I don't feel like I have to explain that. We are also returning Texas to Mexico. We have to. Read about the U.S.-Mexico war, it's bad. Everyone in the Austin comedy scene, especially Joe Rogan, will be forced into white slavery. One thing we know that the president can get away with is drone striking people. Who are the public figures Americans hold most dear? Because that's who's getting double tapped. Goodbye, Mr. Beast. Bon voyage, Flo from Progressive Auto Insurance. Sayonara, Morgan Freeman. And as a lifelong fan, it brings me no joy to commit to turning Dolly Parton into a bag of unidentifiable humanoid slurry. Heavy is the presidential crown, which is a real crown I will literally wear on my head every day of my presidency. And in my final sweep, I'm going to drive Mr. Market up the wall. The US dollar will no longer serve as the world reserve currency. We are replacing it with Kohl's cash. Grocery stores will only accept Microsoft points. These hijinks will disrupt the flow of treats and goodies so thoroughly as to turn all American civilians feral. Only then will it be time for step 3, revolutionary coup / my execution. So, while I have been cratering the American Republic and becoming a world-class reprobate, you, my cabinet / secret vanguard party, have been fomenting a popular front who will depose me in a coup. At last, you can seize control of the pig state known as the USA and do all the good communistic stuff we could never milk out of the two-party system. I can think of no better leader for new America than the one and only Erika Dreisbach. And in keeping with the revolutionary spirit, I accept that I must be executed. I submit myself to being mauled to death by a horde of pit bull puppies, the babies of those 60 martyred White House pets. My only ask is that first girlfriend Amanda Getzi be spared from this spectacle and that she be honored as vice chair in the dictatorship of the proletariat. Friends, I believe that Madame Dreisbach has a good, sound third-party platform, but it is simply too full of good, socially beneficial things, which is why they'll never let her do any of it. Only if I am first allowed to assume the presidency and destroy this country and be embarrassing. Can we make America great for like the first time ever in history? Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
Making a mess. What a surprise. Number one, it is powerful to see so many beautiful faces looking back at me right now. Fucking thank you for coming to the Skewer. The CEO of the company where I work made inappropriate sexual remarks at the quarterly meeting and at a company outing, and one of those remarks was aimed at me. And because I am the dumbest bitch in the book, I reported him to Human Resources. Because I thought human resources are You're smart, you know what I mean. Yes, I prepared a dry, lawyerly document noting dates, times, corroborating witnesses. I didn't mention one personal woman emotion, just facts. And I sent that email to our third-party HR thinking they would add my report to an anonymized formal record, like Ronan Farrow's briefcase of criminal perverts handcuffed to his person, preserving the sanctity of his sources above all else. Yes, I sent that email. And then I poured myself a cool glass of water. And I opened my book of bitches. There's hot bitches, sexy bitches. Would you believe I opened up to smart bitches thinking I might be there? Oh, not this year? Okay. Just for fun, I opened to dumb bitches, and there, a 2-page spread, the dumbest bitch in the book, me. Because as the HR rep explained via an explanatory JPEG attached to her response, HR doesn't work for me, HR works for the CEO and is required by federal law to report sexual harassment directly to the CEO. I thought this would be so funny. Everyone is fucking horrified. Good. She said she'd do her best to keep me anonymous, but it's a 20-person company, and as you smarties know, my report was filled to the brim with specific details. Yes, I am the dumbest bitch, which means I am ideally suited to American politics and essentially designed in a lab to be a viable third-party mean machine. I could never be a mere tool of the man. I'm simply not smart enough. Erika, why not try to change the system? No, actually, you would say it like this. Erika, why not try to change the system from within? You say in your most dad-core persona. Yes, the current poo party system does have its appealing outliers, the radical wolves among the sheeple, but Bernie, AOC, they're not really power brokers, they're more like social media influencers. Really thought that would go over. No, it's time for a hard-charging third party. And who to lead that party? I will tell you, Consider Josh. Josh is smart. Josh is a master of words with a master's degree. Politics is performance, and no one understands stagecraft better than Josh. Fabulous on the mic, probably with a really cute haircut tonight. He is the ideal choice, but is he the American political choice? That's where I come in. I'm young, I'm dumb, and I'm fun. The other parties, all they've got is dumb. I'm very petitionable. Having a kid has taken a big bite out of my social life, and my phone is dry. I'm also very easy to convince. I was very convinced by Josh earlier. I'm an extrovert, just emote a little. I'll be like, yeah. Yeah, that's fucked up. My grip on reality is a little looser than it used to be. That means I understand the Orwellian doublespeak of politics, double plus good. You need that to survive. Calling cops peace officers. Okay, asserting the right to defend and never ever defining what the word defend means. Never ever. It's like the word nonplussed. It means whatever the fuck you want it to mean. That's okay to me. My kid gaslights me every day. I don't even feel it. Yes, there are 5 lights. Put your shoes on. Josh, beloved, does he have the numbskull necessary to withstand the sheer dysfunction littering the halls of government? He left the academy. He got his paper, and he was free, and he left. The real political animals, they go into academia, they see easy money, they ride dysfunction and broken process straight to tenure because they're smart and they're psychopaths. You put Josh in office, he's gonna be like, I hate this, kill me. And then where will you be? You're gonna be in Les Mis, okay? They don't call that musical Les Heureux, okay? An adamantine personal disposition, I've got that. You know I've got that. Someone's throwing a tantrum, could be a child, could be a full-grown, doesn't matter. It's like tinkling piano music to me. Is that Thelonious Monk on the 88s? I don't even feel it. I'm pulling a snack from my bag. Tantrum's over, we're back on agenda. Put your shoes on. When I ask my kid to wipe his own ass, he doesn't scream anymore. He says, no thank you. That's what progress looks like. Incremental, excremental progress relentlessly over many years. Do you believe this brilliant, angry man can handle that? The sheer number of wet wipes required for that exhausting work? Exhausted is my baseline. What's one more complicated task? For example, this show tonight is Josh's idea. Applaud that. Technically, yeah. Technically, it's not his work. But isn't that what you want? Isn't that what you want? To speak your brilliant notions, and then Mom and her little brother Tom, they do the labor, and they make it real. We'll call ourselves the Ideas People Party. The best idea you'll have tonight, vote for Erica.
Wow. That's strong stuff. Honestly, I don't have that many questions, and I'll tell you why. It's been a long time since I've wrote these questions. I forgot how to make funny ones, so I only got like 1 or 2 for each of you. Wanna answer them? Come on, get up here, you guys. Oh, gosh. Josh, I got to ask you this first. We didn't have a skewer when the Chicago mayoral election was going on, so you couldn't do your classic official election correspondent mayoral candidate review. So you got any jokes about Mayor Brandon?
Well, I just got back to the city a few months ago, and I've been slowly building a repertoire of awful things to say about everybody who holds power. But I can say the CTA sucks now. What the fuck happened? And he seems like kind of annoying, and what are we doing at the Bear Stadium thing? I need to do a little more research. Maybe he should come to the next skewer.
Oh my God, dude.
I could talk to him a little bit and be like, "Oh, man, nice to meet you." But then I'm actually like building like Oppo. I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, you have a weak handshake, Brandon." Yeah, give me a little more time. I will. By the time he's not the mayor anymore, there are no more two-term mayors in this city. I will have a lot of really funny things to say about him.
Beautiful. Erica, if you're president, who's going to co-produce the skewer with me?
Okay, so when we said third party candidate, I never thought we were talking about the president. I thought we were talking about school board. I thought we were talking about rep. Legit, this is not me trying to put a plug for down ballot or anything. I was not thinking that high. I obviously would make time for it. Put it on the pile, Tom. It's no big deal.
Okay. Josh, you're a literary type. You know, have you heard of this guy, Kurt Vonnegut? So he has a phrase, goes something like, you become what you pretend to be. That's from Mother Night. Close enough. When you're doing your shit, how are you gonna keep from going mad? And just believing it and being like, you know what, I love this.
I promise to you, I will not keep from going mad. It is important that I stay angry. Listen, I don't want to be the president, although I also don't want my job anymore. So I think it would be cool if you made me president, so I don't have to do that shit anymore. But I think it would benefit my specific plan that I'm really testy and angry, and they can just put me on TV every day, and I can be like, "Ooh, you're all rascals," you know?
Okay. Erica, so you're the dumbest bitch in the book. Your words, not mine. How does that square with being one of the great geniuses of all time? Because they're both true.
Ooh, yeah, jumbo shrimp, some things. Enough said.
Enough said. Beautiful. I think it is time for y'all to give your closing statements. The last push. Yeah, Erica, you want second before, so go first now.
If this debate were praxis, it wouldn't be a two-party debate. There would be a viable third option, something a little more exciting than abstaining, which is, of course, the bravest possible political engagement. So brave. Although I do respect wanting to stay away from the polls on Guy fucking Fawkes Day. But a third option for tonight, I bet Josh brought that up, that we should have a third-party option for tonight's little election. I bet he did it in his opening statement because Josh is smart and I am dumb. Full disclosure, though, to bookend my incredible and compelling argument, my company's third-party HR rep got back to me and said, I spoke to your CEO and I did manage to preserve your anonymity. And I thought, lady, you didn't preserve she. Then I thought, maybe when she spoke to the CEO, he said, oh, are you able to say who filed these complaints? In a way that she was like, oh my God, he's not acting. And she said, no. And then maybe she went to her shelf and she opened up her book of bitches. And it said, see update. And there he was, the dumbest bitch in the book. The Ideas People Party! Remember, a vote for us is a vote for Erica.
Fucking rolled them up again. Jesus Christ. Shouldn't go for me. Ladies, gentlemen, friends who are serenely hovering several feet above the gender binary. I did my research, and it is too late for me to get on tomorrow's ballot. This works out because at age 33, I am too young to seek office, which, as an aside, is a bullshit rule. You're telling me that at age 33, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, can die for the sins of mankind, but cannot run for president of his favorite country. Something to ponder. But 4 years from now, I will be 4 years older. and I will be ready to seek your vote for president of the sinking SS US of A. My plan has its risks. It is possible that I will be either JFK'd or military couped before our secret vanguard takes control. We will have to plan for this contingent. I have some ideas. Perhaps my Secretary of State, Joe Anderson, can distract our ground troops by ordering 100% of them to occupy Serbia. Chief of Staff Tom Harrison could get all the deep state guys addicted to JRPG, etc. But I believe in our success. I promise to live stream my bowel movements to the American people. I promise to do baby talk at all the big summits. It will be my honor to barricade the congressional doors and force our legislators into a Lord of the Flies style situation. I will do all of this so that you, my beautiful Vanguard Party, can topple my administration and forever rid the world of the great Satan. You must pull up the MS Word doc where our founders wrote the Constitution, hit select all, and mash that delete key. Write something better. I will be executed, and my last words will be, eat my ass, George Washington. Skewer, let's rock the vote. Elect me in 2028 as America's suicide vest. We can build something new over my stinky and smoldering bones. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Folks, that was lovely. Thank you for those incredible opening and closing debates, Erica Dreisbach and Josh Watkins, one more time. But unfortunately, there can only be one winner, and you cannot do a funny meta thing where a third thing wins. It's one of you two. And I'm not going to waste time. I'm going to decide what's louder. Trust me, if you think the winner of this debate arguing that Erica Dreisbach should be the president is Erica Dreisbach, fucking clap and make noise and you can go, yay. If you believe all that shit but change the name to be Josh Watkins, do the same thing but at the appropriate level. Folks, I present nothing. I present clout to Josh Watkins, winner of the Skewer Debate. That's all for us. We done. Thanks for coming to our revival show. I'm glad that it feels good. That's all I'll say. I've been your host. Good night. Bye-bye.